Okay, so the dish we're making today has so much versatility. It's perfect for any season, and it's a great make-ahead dish for a weeknight dinner or your next gathering. I'm back with cooking instructor Heidi Lang. Nice to have you back here, Heidi.
Great to be here.
We are making a feast today, right?
We are, and the great thing, as you just mentioned, is this is a perfect thing. In fact, I recommend that you make this the day before.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of really wonderful ingredients here that need to sort of marry overnight. They need to sort of get to know each other and become one.
Got it.
So we're going to start with the pancetta. We took some pancetta. I'm just going to show you. Pancetta is a cured Italian bacon. It's got some juniper berries and other spices in it, so it doesn't taste like a regular bacon. But it's raw, so it has to be cooked. And so when you buy it in the store, you can actually buy it cubed, as I have it here, but it loses a lot of flavor when you do that. So you really want to buy it yourself and cut it. So this is at about 1/4 inch, as you'll see, and you're just going to cut it as if you would an onion or anything else into cubes, okay?
And you ask that in the deli or specialty store?
Yeah, you know, a lot of Italian specialty stores have it. Supermarkets have it as well. But I like to buy it in an Italian specialty store because it's probably fresher, there's a bigger turnover. So this is what the pancetta will look like once it's been cooked, okay? And you just want to put it on a paper towel because you don't want all that grease. It's a lot of grease. We took some of the oil from this before, and we used it to cook the onions. So this is 3 cups of onions, about 2 large onions, and we cook this in, again, about 3 tablespoons or so of the oil from the pancetta, and we let them caramelize. You can actually cook them for only 10 minutes, but the more you cook them, the sweeter they get, so that's great. So you have then your onions, you have your pancetta, and then I like to use, for this kind of meat sauce, I like to use 3 different kinds of meat. Ground beef, veal, and pork. But if you don't like pork or you don't like veal, you can use any combination you like. And many Hearty Bolognese sauces only use ground beef.
Got it.
But the different flavors together really are great. Now here's the part that's really, really surprising for people who've never made a Bolognese sauce. So we're going to combine these onions. Okay. Oh, and I should
all of the onions, right? All 3 cups.
And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to put this back on and just take some of this garlic. We have 6 cloves of garlic here. Now, if you love garlic, put more in. If you don't like garlic,
put a little less
in. So I'm just going to just heat this a little bit of garlic up. And if you don't have one of these little choppers, we were talking about this before, this is a great tool instead of using a big food processor.
Okay.
So while that's just heating up a bit, I'm going to mix the onions in.
Could you use the same pan for the pancetta, the onions, and the garlic?
Yes. But in the interest of time, we sped things up. Actually, at home in the recipe that we'll have online, you'll actually make the onions, the pancetta, take the pancetta out, put the onions in, and then the garlic, okay? So, but I wanted to show the steps, and that would take a good half hour, okay? So we're mixing the pancetta, and I'll just move this over here.
Okay.
And let's see, put this up. And once this is all mixed well, we'll put this back on the stove. And
is this going to make a lot? I mean, because I know we're saving some of it, right?
It is going to make a lot. This is going to make, I said on the recipe 8 to 10, but it's probably, depending on the family or the group, 10 to 12.
Okay.
So what we do is we have this for dinner, and then we freeze the second half, or have it for leftovers for 2 days, because what's wrong with having the same meal 2 days in a row?
I don't mind.
Okay. So, so we've got this garlic, and now this is just a little bit cooked, and we're going to put the garlic in as well. You always want to cook the garlic for about 30 seconds to 60 seconds, just to bring out the aromatics. But you don't want to overcook it. Sometimes recipes tell you to add the garlic the same time as the onions, but it burns very quickly, so you don't really want to do that. Okay, here's the part that's really cool and very surprising. We are adding whole milk, 1.5 cups of whole milk. And we're going to put this on medium, and we're going to cook this. We won't be able to see this right now, but we're going to cook this until this milk evaporates. So that'll be about 10 minutes or so.
And it's still on the stovetop here.
It's still on the stovetop, okay? So once that milk evaporates, and I'm just going to put this here, there's going to be another surprising ingredient.
Okay.
We're going to then take an entire bottle of wine.
All right.
The first time I made this, I only did 2 cups. It was great. I added 3 cups the next time, but
it was even better. So you kept going.
was really did the trick. And you want to have a hearty kind of wine, a Merlot or Cab, a combination.
Okay.
You don't want to go with a really light red wine like a Beaujolais or a Pinot Noir. Any wine you want, don't spend a fortune.
Okay.
It's also good if you've had a wine that's been open for a couple of days and it's not perfect anymore. You can use that. You just need 4 cups, so you can use from one bottle and another if you like. But don't go crazy over the wine, okay? And after that, we put the wine in for about a half hour. We also have to let the wine evaporate, the liquid, otherwise it's going to be too liquidy.
Okay.
So it's a process, as you see. And then we're going to add whole tomatoes that I also, this the same chopper.
Okay.
Before I took the whole tomatoes from a can.
And you don't like them chopped ahead of time or crushed or anything like that?
Well, I use also 1 can of crushed tomatoes.
Okay.
We also use 1 can of crushed tomatoes, but I also then these are a little more coarse than crushed tomatoes, and I separated the liquid from it as well.
Okay.
So we're going to add 2 cans of the whole tomatoes.
Got it.
That have been coarsely chopped, and that's what makes it a Bolognese sauce. Bolognese sauce is sort of a chunky,
thick, right?
It's very, very thick. And then we're going to add the juice from the cans, and then also 1 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, excuse me.
Got it,
Okay.
So that's all on the stovetop still?
It's all on the stovetop, so this is cooking. And you'll see that the milk looks like it's all gone. And it is sort of all gone, but you really just want to give it that 10 minutes or so, okay? So then we'd add the whole bottle of wine, this and the crushed tomatoes and some oregano.
Okay.
And then we cover it, and then we put it in the oven for a really long time, for 3 hours.
3 hours, right? Okay.
3 hours at 300 degrees.
Okay, and then when it's after the 3 hours, you're all set?
After the 3 hours, you can serve it. Here, I like to use spaghetti because it is such a rich sauce. I think that linguine would just make it just a little bit too rich. And of course, you need a nice crusty bread with it and some Parmesan cheese.
Very good. Well, it smells delicious. We're going to dig in at the end of the show. Thank you so much for being here, Heidi. Of course, we'll have the recipe over at WTNH.com.
Indeed.
Just click on Style.